Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Ysn Power Hour, powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. Let's get that graphic up real quick. There we go. Thanks to Tino and the whole crew over at the Toyota of Warren complex. Great supporters of not only this show, but of YSN across the board. And we got a great show for you here. And again, all brought to you by Toyota of Warren. Here on the YSN Power Hour, we have Duncan Moy. Duncan Moy, ladies and gentlemen, joins the show, I believe for the first time, making his Power Hour debut here on YSN. Looking forward to hearing from him. The dude is a high flyer, an MVP candidate, certainly. A young man who has accepted our invite to the YSN All-Star Game on March 24th. He will be in the dunk competition. We're excited to see that. And right before the show, he promised me that he's going to put on a show for everybody. So just so everybody's clear, get your tickets, because not only does it go to a good cause, but Duncan Moy personally guaranteed he's going to put on an awesome show. So I don't know if you can get a better intro than that, other than this guy has been a primetime player wherever he has been. He has been the staple of the Badger program, but he has helped build that program back to not only where it is now, but where it is headed. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in Duncan Moy. What's up, Dunk?
What's going on?
Oh, man of few words, but a lot of action for you. Talk to me about how this senior year has gone for you. There's been a lot of people that have been looking to you, looking at you as one of the area's premier players. How have you dealt with kind of all of that on your shoulders your senior year to go along with, graduating, the recruitment tour, all that stuff?
I've kind of been blocking it out a little bit and just trying to focus on playing basketball, because people are going to say whatever they want. I can't help what they say. But to be in that conversation, it's really special to be amongst all the other good players in the area. And to actually grow up with a lot of them, it means a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, your name's been on the conversation for a few years, so you're no rookie to having your name be in lights, so to speak, around being one of those primetime players. For you, you seemingly always have a basketball, at least either in your hands or nearby. Why is basketball so important to you, and when did you really gravitate towards it full time?
Well, pretty much ever since I was born, I've kind of been in the gym with my dad being a coach. Both my siblings played. My mom helped there, like here and there. Both my parents played when they were in high school. So just kind of being around the game, just like really gave like, I don't really know how to say it, but like I found a love for it, I guess, and it just came like a second nature to me. So when I was in 7th or 8th grade is when I really started putting like all my time. I dropped like all my other sports and just really started focusing on basketball.
What was it about basketball that you really fell in love with? I mean, there's a lot of sports, obviously, and I think they're all great for their own individual causes. But for basketball, for you, what was the one thing that said, man, I really enjoy this sport more than any because of blank?
Just the way it's played, like it's a nonstop game. You can't really just take plays off. Like you're always involved. Like even when you're on the bench, you're involved. When you're in the stands, you're involved. Like just being in the gym, like it's just an environment that I wouldn't change for anything. Even just watching basketball, even at home, like I just always feel like I'm part of the game.
I can respect that. And you talk about both sides of the floor. You're never taking action off. You, my friend, get it done at both ends of the floor. I mean, you're a guy that can put 30 plus on any given night. Obviously, we talked about your circus freak, unbelievable prowess to put the ball down, but you've also got just an unbelievable jump shot that I think obviously you've worked on a whale of a time in the gym, but defense, my friend, I would argue that defense is still one of your best traits. Where do you see what's your favorite thing about your game, and what did you have to work the hardest on to get where you are right now?
I would say the favorite part of my game is actually my passing ability. Like, yeah, everyone sees me for my scoring, but like when I go out and play AAU and stuff, I feel like I throw a lot like better passes. Like I see the floor really well. I'll see something before it's happening, so I'm able to like make that play, which helps you be a better scorer because you know what's about to happen. So I'm able to counter my counter pretty much. So that helps a lot. But the thing I worked on the most was definitely last year was my jump shot coming in from my junior year because I couldn't shoot to save my life. So kind of cost us a couple games last year. So I definitely worked on that. But my lateral quickness is something that I had to work on a lot because I was super slow side to side. So getting quicker, just like having a quick first step, just being able to cut people off and stuff like that was something that was really like a main focus for me.
I guess the question to you, I mean, everybody sees the production on Tuesdays and Fridays, right? But nobody sees the off season. You talk about lateral quickness and what you put into getting to where you are now. What kind of effort did you have to put in the off season? I mean, everybody just thinks that you're natural. You come out there, you go to practice, obviously, for a couple hours. You guys play a little basketball, and then all of a sudden you're able to put 30, 35 points up a night. What things do people don't know and don't understand about what you've had to do to take your game to where it is now?
Definitely the hours on hours just spent like in the off season. From me asking my coaches to open the gym up, from my dad to open the gym up, my mom taking me places just to play basketball and traveling all over to play AU. I've been pretty much from the East Coast to the West Coast playing. So just being able to like get all that stuff done, like without the people around me, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like, I mean, coaches came in early in the morning, late at night, letting me in the gym. My dad's had me up at early in the morning, outside running, doing all this other stuff. My mom's traveled. We've had flights at like 3 a.m., like where she's got to get up, take me to the airport, pick me up from the airport, stuff like that. Like, honestly, I couldn't ask for a better supporting crew.
The grind that you're talking about, I mean, going to airports and traveling the country and the world, how do you think that's made you a better basketball player? How do you think that's created some of the adversity that you've been able to fight through to become the man you are today?
Uh, it definitely helped me see the game more. Like being at these bigger tournaments and stuff. Even when I wasn't playing, I was always like at the gym, like watching other people, being able to watch people, like being able to watch like Gabe Cups, Jared McCain, like all those kinds of players. Like I've seen like playing AAU and stuff, and just like really like studied how they were playing or how their team played, how the coaches coached, like stuff like that. Just really helped me like evolve my game to get to the next level. And adversity is something that you got to go through with life. And my old Harding coach would always bring it up. He would always talk about adversity. And now even with Coach Upshire, he would bring it up all the time. Something like adversity is going to happen in life no matter what. So you got to be able to go through it because you can't always go around it.
Dude, being able to broadcast, in your gym at least once a year, I'm always blown away with how much attention, how many people show up to those Badger games because you guys don't have football. Obviously, there's a little bit of that goes into it. That you're the main attraction. This year the girls have really stepped up in becoming that. You guys are 1 and 1A intermittently, and you can kind of change that around to have that great gravitational pull, that great fan base that shows up night in, night out with Badger. What does that mean to you, and how does that take you to another level?
It means everything. Like for them to come out and support us, support the girls, like our basketball team, we try to go to as many girls games as we can, try to support them. Might not be the loudest fans, but we're always there supporting, trying to help out in any way we can, and they do the same for us. So being able to support each other is definitely something that like really brings us together as a family, and knowing like we're a small town, so we all grew up together. We've all known each other since we were little. We've went through school together, just kind of watched each other grow up. And I mean, the community has too, because none of us really came from like crazy far away. Like we've all pretty much been here our whole lives. So they've seen us grow up from when we started playing basketball to now.
I think it's incredible when I look at like the water boys, the managers on the basketball team, the pardon me, the way they look at you, the way they look at your team, and they can almost envision themselves in your shoes 5, 10 years from now, right? For you, what's most important about being a role model and knowing that those eyes are on you whenever?
Just coming out and setting the best example I can be. Like even in practice, when they're there, they're watching me. So I got to be the best player I can at all times. In school, like we have one big school, like everyone's here, so I got to be able to show up to school and still be as good as a person as I can be because they're still watching me, even if it's not on the basketball court. So for me to like just be the best role model I can for them, it means a lot. because I know they're going to do great things. They got a great group coming up. So just to kind of help them through that and watch how they grow the next couple of years is just it's just really huge.
There's a lot of people that will look to you as being one of the key pieces in the foundation of Badger basketball and how it's rebounded. Obviously, you've got Coach Upshire, who had a milestone year this year. That's not over. I mean, I think you guys still have a lot of story to write. But you look at the past couple years, you look at what you've been able to do in your tenure. How do you see Badger basketball progressing, and how do you feel like you've become a key role player in that piece of the wall that Badger's building right now?
Um, Ever since Coach Upshire came here, like it just seems like everything changed. Like I don't really remember basketball from when I was younger, other than when my brother played. Like I remember games from here and there, but the 2018-2019 season was huge. Like that was my seventh grade year, so watching like Aiden Miller and his senior group and the groups under him play, like it just really brought me and all my friends and my teammates together, and it was like that's who we want to be when we get there. And last year, us being able to make it to the district championship, just like they did, it was like we were finally able to say like we made our goal come true. So to be able to just do that, and then that's our goal again, is just to make it back to the district championship and even farther. We already won our league, so that was a goal that we had at the beginning of the year. We had it last year too, didn't get it. So to get it this year, it was huge for us, and it just kind of sets the standards for the future of Badger basketball.
And we talked about you being a role model, for the younger generation. For you, who were your role models? Who did you look up to from a hoop standpoint? And then who did you look up to off the court that really kind of guided who you become as a young man, and obviously moving into the next generation, the next element of your career?
From a basketball standpoint, ever since I was younger, I wanted to play like Aiden Miller, a kid that graduated. He was the all-time leading scorer for the boys. So he was just someone I kind of grew up with. Our dads were really good friends, like played together here and there. So I just wanted to be like him. Like he was someone that I looked up to. I just wanted to play like him. I wanted to be like him. He scored the ball well. I kind of just wanted to be Aiden. So to be able to like do that, I just recently passed him. So that was a cool little like moment. Now I'll get to share with him forever. I still talk to him all the time. And then off the court, kind of look up to my parents, my siblings. Like both my siblings are very successful. Both my parents, I mean, they do everything they can for me, and those are the people I want to be off the court. Like I just want to be able to provide for my family the way they all do.
As far as your parents go, what's one component, what's one piece of them that you really admire? So from mom, what's one thing you admire from your mom's side? What's one thing you admire from your dad's side?
Uh, they both work super hard. I think they both gave me that like never quit mentality, like just to come out even when if it's basketball, if it's school, like anything, just to give it my all because you never know what you'll get out of it. So they both like I've never seen either of them really just like not give something their all. So to be able to grow up and see that, like it really like engraved it into me to where it's like everything I do, I want to give my best. Like I want to be the best.
For you as an 18-year-old talking to, let's say, 12-year-old Duncan Moy, if you had a chance to get in the DeLorean, go back to the future, I guess go back to the past, and talk to your 12-year-old self, what's one thing that you would want your 12-year-old self to know that you know right now?
Hit the weight room. I feel like I'm too small. I never really like actually focused on the weight room until I hit like my high school. Like when I was younger, I kind of always just pushed it off. Like I was like, oh, it'll be all right. Like I'm bigger than everybody right now. And yeah, I was taller, longer, maybe faster, but I was never the stronger one. And I kind of wish I would have changed that when I was younger.
For you, I mean, you're going to the next level. For those of you, those who don't know, where are you going? And obviously playing basketball. What are you going to study?
I'm going to California University of Pennsylvania. It's about just south of Pittsburgh, like 30 miles or so. And I'll be studying accounting. Just, I don't know, I've always been involved with math. My sister's an accountant, and so is her husband. So I've kind of like looked to them, and they're both successful, and they think I could be successful in that area as well. So I think it's something worth giving a try.
Well, I would say you're good with numbers, young man. Well over the 1,000-point mark now in your career. The one question that I've always wanted to ask you, even the night that you broke the 1,000-point. You had 2 points to go. The first bucket of the entire year, you're in the 1,000-point club. How much did that absolutely drive you crazy from the time that you put your jersey away your junior year going into your senior year, that you just needed one bucket? You could have got all this taken care of last year and just focused on everything else. What kind of mental gymnastics were you doing for 6-9 months out of the year, knowing that you were one bucket away from 1,000?
Knowing that I was that close kind of made me a little mad that I wasn't able to get it. Like, I was like 2 free throws away, one bucket, one layup, one jump shot. So it kind of pushed me to like work harder in the summer because I didn't want to be that one bucket short. I didn't want to be those couple free throws short. Like, there was just something that was always in my brain. So it was like I got to work harder because I didn't reach what I was like capable of last year. So I just wanted it more.
So it kind of helps you. I mean, you start going back. I mean, naturally, you'll start going back on every free throw you had. Like you said, every missed shot. But now you kind of look forward, and right now it probably helps you out a ton going in the playoffs of what can we do if we're one bucket better? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's incredible. That's such great vision from you, and understanding of not giving up an instance, and living in that moment, making sure that you make the most of that moment. For you, I mean, you want to be an accountant, but there's a part of you probably that still wants to be a hooper. If the basketball gods, if you will, give you that opportunity, what things do you want to accomplish in your college basketball career? What things can we look back on in 4 or 5 years in this interview and say he accomplished this? He set out what he wanted to do.
One thing is I want to win freshman of the year next year for my conference and stuff. They give out awards like that, and that's definitely one that I want to win. I want to make it to the Elite Eight, make it to the final. I want to win. I want to win the national championship, but being able to just be in the Elite Eight every year, I think, is a goal that like would be really big for me. Just knowing that every year I played, I gave it my all, even if I didn't make it all the way. Like, I gave it my all to get there. So those are things that I'd like kind of thinking about. But right now, I'm obviously worried about high school basketball. But those are things that I definitely want to accomplish when I get there.
Man, you're impressive, man. On and off the court, I'm a fan. I'll be a fan for life. We can't thank you enough for taking out some time out of your, very, very busy schedule as you guys get prepared to head into the tournament. We wish you all the best of luck. And no matter what, we will see you on March 24th at Boardman High School for the YSN All-Star Game. Looking forward to that. Good luck to you. Good luck to Coach Upshire. I know he's creeping around there somewhere. Thanks so much for your time. And again, best of luck, Dunk.
Thank you.
There he goes, Duncan Moy. I mean, he's just different. He's one of one. He is one of one. He's a unicorn when it comes to the way that he approaches the game of basketball. And I think any coach that he's ever had or he will ever have will tell you that. And he's the kind of guy that I don't think he's lying. I don't think this is a made-up line. I think he probably went back in the books last summer, and looked at every single free throw and how many opportunities he had to make that 1,000 point as a junior, which, as we know, is special. It's special. And that young man, incredibly special. We're so blessed to be able to watch him play basketball here on YSN, and special talent. So thanks, Duncan. We appreciate you very much. We're going to take a break. We come back. We got a lot to talk about. Last night, some of these scores, folks, we got to talk about it. We'll be back right after this on YSN.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN, we love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at Ysn is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name is Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
Thank you, Anthony. Our sports network, my sports network, is your sports network as well. DJ Yoakley with you. Thanks to Duncan Moy for stopping by. Thanks for Josh Upshire for setting that up. I mean, Badger's a special place. We talked about Duncan as a special player in that program, but you look at the adversity, some of the adversity that he's faced and overcome in his career, in his life, on, off the floor, and to be able to come out on the other side the way that he is, the way that he does, is impressive. We're going to flip and switch gears here to something that's probably not going to be very favorable, something that's going to be a little hot topic, something that probably isn't going to push all the buttons that you necessarily want them to push. Some of this is going to be a little bit of a pushback of what we typically do, but I'm going to preface it in saying that, in my personal opinion, the playoffs, a tournament, is something that you should earn a seat at the table, a chip in the chair, as my good buddy Andy always says. And nights like last night are a firm example of that. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to point the finger at the team on the winning end of the scoreboard and say, you should have taken this player out or this player out or this player out. I'm going to go the other route and say that there's a lot of teams that shouldn't qualify for the playoffs. They just shouldn't. And I think that the same kind of window that we see in football, we saw it in 2020. There were teams that would not play for fear of injury. You would not put a fifth grade team against a varsity contender because it's just not helpful for anybody. If somebody gets hurt on the losing side, so the team that loses or ends up losing, it doesn't look good. The optics aren't great. If someone from the winning side is kind of downshifting their game a little bit, it ends up getting hurt or pulling a hammy or heaven forbid something even more severe. The optics of that aren't great. So in planning today's show, I decided that I'm going to take a stand and say that no team, there should be no open invite to the playoffs in any sport. And I know that's not going to be popular. I know that's not going to be a scenario that people are going to jump on the bandwagon and ride with the YSN flag and say, this is, we're planting the flag in that statement. I get it. But I'm going to read off, and I'm not going to say, I mean, it's not going to take a rocket scientist to figure this out, but I'm just going to read off some scores from last night. And I want you to tell me, in what world does that make either one of these teams any better than just having a glorified scrimmage, giving them an extra scrimmage date, condensing the season a little bit, which would help so much, either the fall sports or the spring sports, and just condensing the playoffs. Here are some of the scores from last night. 62-22, 45-11, 59-16, 66-24, 63-19, 58-25, 56-18. We got a 30-24 in there. 71-23, 51-34 is not bad. 51-46, that's not bad. A 49-28, not awful. 34-32 is good. 48-35, not bad. 92-20, 67-10, 55-27, 78-9, and 40-23. Those were just the scores last night. And you can check them out with the teams on YSN scores page. I want someone to explain to me how the majority, I would say 80% of those scores, blowouts. And I'm not talking 10 points. That's not a blowout to me. There were worse scores than that across the state. I'm trying to figure out how those scores, when someone runs it up by that much, how it helps. Other than if you pull your starters early enough, it gives them some reps, but also opens up opportunities for your reserves. But really, that should be done during the season. You shouldn't be hoping for opportunities for your reserve players in a postseason tournament. And tell me I'm wrong, and I'm open to conversation here. You can sway me. This isn't something that I'm absolutely sold on, but I've been thinking about this for years. The same thing happens in baseball, in softball. And I'm going to tell you this. At some point, football is going to be back in the conversation that they're going to open up Pandora's box and everybody's magically going to get in, and you can decline it. But what does that do for you? I know the way that I felt whenever I saw teams decline. And I'm not anybody, but it's one of those things like, okay, why is my team declining? Are we scared? And what are we afraid of? And coaches would tell me with no uncertain premise that, yeah, if we go there, our kids are going to get hurt. And how do you look a parent in the eye knowing full well that you're putting their son or daughter in harm's way? I don't think that this is much different. I don't think that basketball is much different from football, especially some of us who get to watch it on a nightly basis and see some of these falls, some of these tie-ups, some of the physicality. And you can't, earmuffs, kids, we're on the internet. You can't tell me that if I'm losing by 82 points, it's not going to piss me off. You're talking about competitors. You're talking about people who, girl or boy, they are battling a lot of emotion. There's a lot going on in those bodies from 14 to 18 that they are battling some demons even before they get on the floor. And we're just going to kind of sit there and stoke the fire. I don't know. And again, zero blame for a team going out and wanting to win. Zero. I've said it before. If you're on a varsity playing field or playing surface, the right to back off has gone out the window. Now, there is sportsmanship to it, but if you're expecting someone to take it easy on you because they're better and you're not up to snuff, I'm sorry, don't go. Don't go. Throw in the towel. Don't waste everybody's time. It's not the winning team's responsibility to play down to your level to make you look better. I'm of the sound mind that and understanding that when good players slow down, play below their ability, people will get hurt. Student athletes will get hurt because it's throwing off the process that they've been trained to ramp up and play as fast as they can, as physical as they can, a certain way. And when you're playing a little outside of your comfort zone, when you're over your skis a little bit, that's when tumbles happen. I don't know what it's going to take. I look at this scoreboard and I don't know what it's going to take because I think we all know what it boils down to. I mean, I think we had, I don't even know how many games we had on last night, 13? Something around there. I mean, there were grateful for the sponsors that we had. Grateful. But one of the reasons I can tell you that we don't utilize pay-per-view from a business perspective in the sectional round is because nobody wants to see these games. They're not competitive. So people are willing to save their $9.99, but they'll watch it for free. There's no doubt. They'll sit there and watch it for free, but they're not going to pay $10 to watch games that are decided by 50 points. They'll watch it for free, and they'll watch it over and over again, and the data shows that. The data shows last night 26,000 views of our games. Even at 67-10, people are watching, but they're not going to pay. That's why sponsors have to pick it up. But the district round, things get a little bit more interesting. It's where the rubber meets the road. I want somebody to explain to me. I really, really would hope that someone can explain to me the value of a sectional championship. I don't think there's no value. But is that something that teams are, and I'm asking, is that something that teams are implementing and setting as a goal? We want to win our conference. We want to win a sectional championship. Not sure we can enter the districts. I don't know. I'm not in those conferences. I'm not in those meetings. I'm not in those gymnasiums. I'm not in those locker rooms. Is that something like, I know that we never set out a goal and said sectional championship. I mean, most coaches, if I'm not mistaken, look past the sectional championship to get to the district championship and say that is, I mean, you heard Duncan Moy say it. We want to get back to the district championship. I didn't hear sectional championship. I'm sure that he wants that. But like, it's kind of like breathing, right? You don't, after a while, when you're a baby, you don't think about breathing necessarily anymore. You just do it. You're expected to breathe to live. You're expected to win the sectional if you're a good basketball team. Districts, roll the dice. I don't know. I look at these scores last night, and as they were coming in our group chat, I just thought about the parents that are sitting there like, we're paying, I think it was $10 times 4. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. Let's see that there's brother, sister in the crowd as well. You're looking at a $50 bill to watch your son or daughter win or lose by 60 points. Should be a scrimmage. I don't know that you can make that and quote that as playoff basketball. You know, it's just one of those things. Sam Torres chiming in here. I think it's it's program to program. When you have a 1 and 2 win season, Man, if you have a 1 to 2 win season, though, Sam, I don't know that you're talking and necessarily concerned about playoffs. You know? And if you're of a 1 to 2 win season, do you really feel like you deserve the right to go to the playoffs? You know, what if the Carolina Panthers got into the NFL playoffs this year and they had to take on the 49ers? You know, like, is that worth watching? Would advertisers want to advertise during that if you're the NFL? I don't think. I don't, and I know this isn't the NFL, right? I know we're not, but tell me how that's too far off base. I think in my mind, if you're a 1 to 2 win team, you've got much more to worry about than a sectional championship. You want to multiply those wins in the regular season. You need the time off to work. Those reps in a game that's 92-20 are not going to help you get to where you need to go. You need to be playing teams your level and building confidence. Swika, sectional titles are a joke. They should do away with it. Participation trophy. I mean, again, not trying to speak out both sides, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not sure I feel as adamantly about it as you do, but you see these scores and you just wonder. You just wonder. Are these teams better off playing one game at the sectional level, eliminating half the field? I don't know how you're not. Again, 20% of the games last night were good. So you got to figure that out. But 80 were not. 80 were bad. And I say bad from a competition standpoint, not necessarily bad from bad basketball. And I know you're always out there for a stinker, right? There's probably always going to be a game that's a mismatch. Guys, it shouldn't be 80%. It shouldn't be 80%. They don't let every team into March Madness. There's a reason for that. Would it be exciting? No. No. Well, 16 can be to 1. They can. It took it 70 years to happen. But they did it in football. They did. And now we'll never hear the end of it. And it may never happen again. Not good. Not good. I'm not on board with it. And I don't think, as much as I keep saying you can sway me, I think I've gone too far to the dark side. And I'm not really asking for anybody to join me. We need to start finding the answers to this. And the only one that's sitting there saying, we don't mind this, are the same guys that are charging it $10, that are charging us $200 a game, that are charging. List goes on and on. Once again, it says same old guys down in Columbus marching right to the bank. But it's all about the kids. Well, folks, I don't think this is necessarily all about your kids, except if your kids are making them money. That's what it's all about. Swika chiming back in. The excitement level always turns up when district when district heats up. Valley back in our day. Yeah. And The net cutting. That's another thing, right? I'm interested to hear your take on net cutting and when it's appropriate as opposed to when it's not. It's kind of all over the place right now. We've seen conference championship nets get cut down. I don't think I have a problem with that. You're working towards that, and you have a piece of that net for all that hard work, those 22 games that you put in. You cut down the nets. I'm cool with that. That's a progression net cut. Sectionals, I'm not big on it. I can see it. It's part of the story, part of the narrative. Districts, yes. Districts, you cut down the nets. Regionals, you cut down the nets. And of course, state championships, you cut down those nets. Hell, I'd probably go buy a net just to cut it down. The whole thing. I don't know that net cuts should be a district level. Definitely agree there. Yet, no sectional net cutting. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the trophies when you win the conference in football, in hockey, baseball, in the major sports. You don't touch the trophy. You don't touch a trophy because that's not necessarily, you're grateful, but the job's not done. And I think when you cut down the nets, it means mission accomplished. You're setting that if you want something special, coaches, players, if you want something special, you cut down those district nets. You cut down those conference championship nets. Again, it goes back to my point. I don't know too many whiteboards that have sectional championship underlined, underlined, underlined. Maybe if you cut down the field, sectionals become more meaningful, but you're going to lose money. And by you, I mean the OHSAA. The schools won't lose money. Schools will make money. They will save money. Ipso facto, make money. And there's no way around it. There's no swerve to get around the sectional championship or playing into it. I mean, you can get a bye, but I think I don't have it up. I believe this week, Hoban, the number 1 seed in Division 1, plays the number 74 seed. I don't imagine that's going to go well. And with all due respect to whoever's the number 74 seed, good luck. And I'm not disrespecting you at all, but I'm sure they look at that and they go, oh my, okay. And then you give the miracle speech, or you give a speech in the locker room that rah, rah. But most teams, these Disney stories that are awesome, right? These Disney stories that make you feel good and warm in the heart, it's because we all wish that would have happened, when in reality, usually when a 1 seed goes against a 74, it is an ass whipping that is audible and visible in any language in any country. It's just how it is. Underdogs. Everybody loves the underdog. Well, there's a reason that we love the underdog, because we want to root for somebody to knock off that guy. Because a lot of times we can't do it ourselves. That's how it is. That's the underdog. Yeah, go get him. Yeah, we want you to win. Usually the underdog's the cigarette butt that's getting right into the ground. And we have underdog stories and underdog victories, but usually they're a little bit embellished at the end of the day. Ask Anthony Hartwig. He'll tell you all about Rudy. And knowing Anthony, he's watching, and then we're going to see a Rudy was offsides in 3, 2. But yeah, just a full circle. We got to do something about these playoffs. I think you're seeing a lot of this in girls. I think you're going to see more of this in girls than you do boys. I don't have any data to back me up on that. I just think that girls teams are more like this, right? There's really good, your average teams and your below average teams. And you've got these two playing right now. And now it turns into and everybody play, right? So very interesting. Very, very interesting. Quick comments before we get to, although almost every school puts their sectional titles on the wall. I don't know. I don't know if you're right or wrong on that. When I was coaching, I think it was Hudson High School baseball had all of their sectional titles on a big board. He chuckled. I said, they don't. Oh, Switty. I'm so glad Switka's back on the Power Hour. Yeah, I don't disagree. Don't disagree at all. That's going to do it for the Power Hour today. Thank you to Duncan Moy spending some time with us today. We'll get his interview up and turned around on ysnlive.com so you can access it anytime. Go back and watch it. Years from now, when that kid continues to be an absolute stud, it's happening, and he'll be an accountant someday. So it's tax season. Just think about Duncan Moy here in about 5 years. Thanks to you for tuning in. Thanks to our friends over at Toyota of Warren, as always, for sponsoring the show. We will be back tomorrow. Jeff Wilson, Jackson Milton girls head basketball coach, will join us. So excited for my friend Jeff after last night, after a big victory. A team that didn't have a team last year gets a first-round victory this year. Story of the year, photo of the year. I would argue he's in the coaching conversation for Coach of the Year as well. We will be back tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on YSN. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you. We'll see you tonight. YSNlive.com. Peace.
YSN thanks you for